And we're back in the Lake Martin Truck and Auto segment of the show with my guest, my good friend, the man about town that everybody knows and everybody loves, Sean Bland, the Centrist. How you doing?
Boy, you can lie sometimes. Everybody loves.
I'm thinking about running for office.
Oh, my time is up. I think I have burned that bridge over time. But no, man, I appreciate that intro.
Yes, I mean, like, when I have political questions, I'll pick up the phone or I'll message or I'll Facebook message, but I'll find you.
Yep.
And I say, man, I need to talk to the centrist.
Apparently, you and WSFA and people now, so we having fun with it, right?
Yeah, because I said, I won't be coy enough to say that I don't know anything about politics because I'd be lying. But I actually ran for a political office a couple times, and I learned better than that soon. But Alex City has been on the front burner politically for a minute, and we're back again. We just got the news that our fire chief and police chief would not be retained by the city, and also just found out that the city has named 2 interim chiefs to
Reese McAllister and Jay Turner.
Yeah.
Should I say Chief Reese McAllister and Chief Jay Turner?
Yeah.
Yeah, give them their proper due.
Right. And I was, when the vote came about, it had been bandied about. I'd been in a couple of meetings where people talking about it. And when the vote came about, it was a 5-0 and a 3-2, right?
I think it was 4-1. I've been corrected that it was a 4-1 for Kim, and it was a 3-2 for Willie George.
Okay. Now, with Chief Robinson, the vote was 3-2, and I was confused about that because one council person was not there. I believe it was
Bobby Tapley.
Bobby Tapley, okay.
Yeah. And so that people know, it was a confirmed vacation that he had already been in. It was pre-done. It wasn't something where he picked up and decided to go on vacation because he knew that meeting was coming. I want people to understand that was a pre-done deal.
Is there no way to vote if you're going to be?
No, you got to be present. You got to be present, and they also have to have a quorum. So if more than, I think, 2 people are gone for any one vote, they can't do it. So I mean, I don't know if it's 2 or if it's 3, but definitely 3 because then they're voting amongst themselves at that point in time. But I know if it's 2 gone, that makes it a 4-person vote, and I don't think that'll cut it.
Yeah, okay.
Quorum-wise.
And by the 3-2 vote, you were explaining to me why the third vote was not.
Yeah, a lot of people believe that if Bobby had been there, that this still would have passed. And if you remember when they had the issues with Sandra Matchin, in order for something to pass, and what we needed to have happen if you were wanting Willie George or Kim to actually get the job, they were trying to get the job. It wasn't that they were being fired. They were trying to get the job. In order for them to get the job, they have to have it affirmed. Okay, it can't be a tie vote, can't be
a losing vote.
It can't be a losing vote. It has to be that at least one more person went for that particular proposal.
Now, I know that you are an expert on these things.
And, I don't want your listeners to be lied to, but I do the best I can.
You can feel the setup coming.
Yeah,
anyway,
yes.
Now,
let me hold on.
Miss Cleo.
Cleo, yes.
She died recently.
Mm-hmm.
And I promise you, we were not related.
Uh-huh.
How is it that I knew the department heads who would be removed, and I knew who their replacements were prior to the election?
Yeah, you didn't have to have a soothsayer's background to understand who would probably step up. And understand that the interim chief, interim chief, that is done primarily so that the city departments, it's not just run smoothly. For the ISO ratings for insurance, they have to have a defined head for both departments. Okay, if they don't, and there's a certain period of time that they have to have that in place, voted on, and in the record. If they don't, then ISO ratings, which means that your insurance and my insurance would have shot up almost immediately.
So that's why it was out there before the election.
Right, and that's
for
why they
insurance
have,
ratings.
and that, well, see, see, that's why I have to be very careful when I myself talk to old Iceberg. But yeah, that was smooth, I give you that. No, but they really do have to have those in place. And that's why, because even if the chief quit or whatever, they would have had to have the same meeting within a certain period of time
Right.
in order to keep the ratings like they are.
Okay. All right.
Now,
Yeah, I feel a little bit more informed.
no, yeah. I see where this conversation is going to go today.
No.
Okay, all
But,
right.
but I noticed you were on WSFA.
Right.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about that. I didn't get
Well,
a chance to see the interview.
I didn't get to see it too much either. No, but what happened was they had called and wanted myself to come by and just kind of give some comments. And I will be honest with you, it's funny to me. This is my second time, just speaking on the issues, and it's a 10-minute conversation, and you get about 10 seconds.
Yeah.
So I've come up with the fact that it's about a 10% retention situation when you're talking to them. And they're looking for sound bites.
Right.
And, the only thing that I think that came across with my portion of the deal, and then, of course, my friend T.C. Coley, gave a little bit more elaborated deal. Now, they did go a little bit further in the actual article on WSFA, but that's a different deal. The bottom line was whether the council wanted to or thought that they wiped out just about all of their diversity in 1 or 2 personnel votes. Right now, they have for next month and a half just one female that happens to be white that's left, and she's on a short contract.
Okay.
So that was the issue, and it's not that I'm expecting for them to just go on a hiring spree of white males, white females, or black males, or black females. It's if we don't point out the obvious and make individuals accountable for trying to make sure that there's an appropriate mix that looks like the community,
Right.
then,
Okay.
we would be wrong for not at least trying to make sure that people put forth the effort to be to recruit as many people as they can.
Are you saying
that's in diversity?
that right now our representatives in the city look like Trump's cabinet?
Not necessarily. Ooh, boy. You are testing that centrist, boy, I tell you. Now, from a journalistic standpoint, let's put it that way.
Okay.
For the individuals that are department heads or officials, the individuals who are appointed, right now, they don't have much diversity. And to ensure that our community stays calm, I guess would be the best way of putting it, and that individuals feel as if they're thoroughly represented by all sides.
A part of the community.
Yeah,
yes.
or at least have a voice.
Yeah.
And, somebody needs to be sitting at the table that can say, well, you might need to think about this, or you might need to consider this, because if we get into groupthink, we'll be like we were in the last council.
Yeah. We are in a process, and maybe that's the driving factor. We seem to be in a process where we're repairing prior damages.
Yeah, I get that.
But sometimes you can take on that cloak and that cape and they write that S on your chest and you forget, your humanity and that you actually represent groups of people and you're not just Superman by yourself.
Yeah. Now, the only problem that I had with the whole deal is that all of a sudden things came out that didn't necessarily justify an immediate termination. I'm in HR, and it seems odd, as I said in my interview, that no one addressed this with either one of them publicly or or behind closed doors that we know of. Now I'll say this, that we know of, where the public even knew that there might be somewhat of an issue and it needed to be addressed. If it was an issue, it needed to be addressed, and we had police officers or fire people that were legitimately in a hostile or bad situation, then I expected for something to be done. But for the community not to know that there were some potential issues and it all of a sudden be the deciding factor, but to come back and say, well, they had good performance.
Yeah.
And they made money and they did everything. That didn't make sense to me.
I worked a job once, and there was a change in leadership on the job. So I found out one day that I had received 3 write-ups. And I questioned it because I never had a write-up. So the new supervisor said, you have these write-ups, and I questioned the write-ups. She said, do you understand the policies and procedures? I said, yeah, I helped write them.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I want to say this. I don't expect for our first responders to be treated bad, to have issues or whatever. But as a manager myself, I also don't expect for everybody to be happy that's under my employ.
Exactly.
So that, to me, is a little bit of a quandary, because now are you putting the chickens in charge of the hen house?
Yeah, because like if you're my supervisor and I plan a barbecue on Saturday and you say I got to work Saturday, I don't like you.
So now is the bar that our police officers have to be friendly, happy, and loving at work, and if they're not, then they're gonna get the chief gets terminated, or I'm trying to understand what the message was in that situation.
Every time I bring you here, I have to extend another invitation because we just eat up time.
Yeah.
We've been here in the Lake Martin Truck and Auto segment of the show with the Centrist, with Deshaun Bland. Of course, his opinions are his opinions, and my being loose and silly is mine.
Stay involved. Don't let people off the hook.
And let people who represent you know that they are representatives.
There you go.
We'll be back after these commercial messages.